Today we're here to talk about the difference between a true swordsman and a strong character with a sword. So I saw this conversation, so I decided to have it on my podcast and post it on TikTok, and it has sparked a lot of debate and discussion. So I decided to make this video so we can go deeper and really talk about what that means. But before we get into it, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. As you guys can see, I'm getting more consistent on YouTube, and I would love you guys' support. Now, as all of us know, anime swordsmen are some of the coolest and most popular characters in anime. However, a lot of your favorite anime swordsmen are frauds. They are very strong characters who just happen to have a sword. That is not the same thing as a swordsman. Just because you carry around a sword, or even if you primarily use a sword, does not make you a swordsman. Would you call Kurabara from Yu Yu Hakusho a swordsman? Would you call Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins a swordsman? I hope not, and let me explain why. So what is an anime swordsman? An anime swordsman is somebody who is actually cold with the sword. There are a lot of characters that have put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work to get the mastery of a sword and earn the title of swordsman. If you're trying to judge whether a character is a swordsman or not, ask yourself this question. If you took all the special abilities away, and I mean all the special abilities, not just powers, I'm talking enhanced speed, enhanced strength, even if you take away their fighting prowess in areas not relating to a sword. If they were a regular human like you and me, we put a sword in their hands, how good are they going to be? With just a sword in their hand and the knowledge of the craft, are they lit? Now, for most of your favorite frauds, that answer is gonna be no. They need the powers, they need the skill, they need the strength, they need the speed. But there are some swordsmen that actually have that skill and can do it without all that. Tanjiro from Demon Slayer is a real swordsman through and through. And if you know me, you know people have labeled me as a Demon Slayer hater. I wouldn't call myself that, but I gotta give props where props are due no matter what. He doesn't need any fancy powers or buffs to be truly cold with the sword. He's just cold. He's learned how to use the sword and mastered the craft. Now, yes, the effects from the sword techniques are not actually there, so some people think that Tanjiro doesn't have powers. However, his enhanced breathing does give him extra strength, extra speed, extra stamina. Take all that away. Just him and the sword, he's getting it done. With just his skill and a sword, he is going up against a lot of you guys' favorite anime swordsmen and beating them. Kazuto Kirigaya, better known as Kirito, is a swordsman all the way. It didn't matter which video game you put him in, his sword was lethal no matter what. My man's was going up against guns with nothing but a lightsaber sword. Now I know what you're gonna say. Malcolm, that doesn't count because Kirito is in a video game. He's not actually cold with the sword. Even though it's not strictly traditional, Kirito's swordsmanship goes way beyond the video game. He went to the real world, took those same skills, and beat someone in a duel who had been training their whole life in kendo without any of his powers. It's just pure swordsmanship. Now let's talk about some of the frauds. I love Bleach and I love Ichigo, and y'all know I'm gonna put Bleach on my back no matter what. However, Ichigo and pretty much all the Soul Reapers are not swordsmen. They are strong characters with swords. Gesuga Tensho is not swordsmanship. His Bankai is a speed and power boost, not swordsmanship. Ichigo is an absolute fucking beast, but he's not a swordsman. I love Ichigo. This is no disrespect, but if you take away all those fancy powers, power buffs, strength buffs, speed buffs, and all that, there's not much swordsmanship there. Yes, he has gotten it done against huge threats in the Bleach universe, but if you make Ichigo a regular human like you and me and hand him a sword, is he getting the job done against a regular swordsman from our world? Probably not. Asta is another great example of a strong character with a sword, not a swordsman. Asta is an absolute beast. I would never take that away from him. I'm a Black Clover fan all the way. Asta doesn't know how to use no damn sword. Asta has anti-magic and is overly powerful by himself. You could have handed him a club, a broomstick, a motherfucking butter sock. It doesn't matter what you hand Asta. He's already lit. He doesn't need a sword. He just happened to have been given one. And to take it a step even further, Asta barely uses that sword as a sword. He really just uses it as a blunt object to hit people with. Like, his swords are so dull, he rarely even cuts people with them. He just uses it to hit people with. Asta is a savage and an absolute beast. However, he's not a swordsman. Now, I already hear what you guys are saying. Insert character here was trained by insert character here for this amount of years with a sword. 9 times out of 10, The strong character with a sword, who you guys call a swordsman, was also not trained by a swordsman. He was trained by another strong guy with sword. I hate to break it to you. Yes, Urahara did train Ichigo in the way of the sword. Urahara is not a swordsman. Asta's teacher, I can't remember his name. He trained Asta in the way of the sword. He's not a swordsman. For the training that you guys are talking about to really matter, you kind of got to get trained by another swordsman. You can't get trained by a strong character with sword and then call yourself a swordsman. Now here's one that has been causing the most controversy. Is Sasuke a swordsman, or is Sasuke a strong character with sword? This one's kind of tricky, but let me help y'all out. Is Sasuke a very skilled ninja? Yes. Does Sasuke use a sword? Yes. Has Sasuke spent a lot of time training with this sword? Still yes. Is Sasuke a swordsman? I'm going to say no, but I completely understand if you guys say yes. And I know this one's a little confusing, so please hear me out, because I know a lot of y'all Sasuke fanboys ain't gonna want to hear me on this. Now, when you take away all of Sasuke's magic powers and etc., he's a very skilled ninja. He is a specialist and has a mastery in all things martial arts and everything in that area. Now, when you hand a specialist like that a sword, yes, of course he is going to look like a swordsman. Put it this way, if you were to hand a sword to pretty much any good ninja in Naruto, they would look very similar to Sasuke with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would look like a swordsman. Now, if you think that that makes him a swordsman, I'm not really mad at you for it. That one's a little bit more of a matter of opinion. It's less black and white than the other ones. So as we've seen, there are a lot of swordsmen and there are a lot of strong characters with swords. However, you can indeed be both. There are plenty characters that are strong as fuck, have magical powers or wherever else, and still are very lit with the sword and cold with their swordsmanship. Kirito, Tanjiro, Afro Samurai, Leonardo, Zuko, Hero Killer Stain, Maki, y'all get what I'm saying. There are a lot of characters who are both. These are characters who are strong as fuck and are genuinely cold with the sword. A lot of these characters do tend to have less powers than the other characters, but in like an anime with powers and shit like that, like, you don't really need to become a true swordsman if you have a lot of powers to lean on. It tends to be the ones who don't have a lot of power, so they have to lean on swordsmanship, in like, that's how they get great. Now, if you've watched this long in the video, you're probably wondering, what about Zoro? Why hasn't he talked about Zoro? If you know me, you know I haven't really watched that much of One Piece, so it's kind of hard for me to speak on Zoro in this sense. The simple answer is, I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge to really say if Zoro's a swordsman or not. However, I have seen some stuff of Zoro, and I do want to say, 3 sword style is not swordsmanship. But I do know that he has a lot more in his bag than just 3 sword style, but I don't really have enough to like speak on that. Like, I know he goes on training arcs and in Wano and a lot of other shit. Like, I just can't speak on whether he's a swordsman or not. I don't want to even get into that and just say some shit that I don't know shit about. But hopefully this video has made it a little bit clearer for you what the difference between a swordsman and a strong character with a sword are. I know even with this video, there's still going to be a lot of debate, a lot of controversy, a lot of opinions. Go ahead, throw them in the comments. I'll respond to as many of them as I can. Granted, I don't know all of the characters y'all know. I haven't seen every anime ever. So some of the characters y'all are going to mention, I'm not going to know. But the ones I do know, I will talk about. I'll comment, you know what I'm saying? We can have a little debate about it. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and go check in the description to hit my other links. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 podcasts. I be on Twitch. I have a vlog channel. I do a lot of stuff, and y'all should come rock with me, come kick it, and we can hang out. Thank y'all so much for pulling up, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace.